Roll them up. Oh, son. Roll them up. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Singing a song about rolling as I puff a vape. Sorry, didn't know the assignment today. It's honey banana, and it's rosin. I also have a Dole Whip. Dole Whip. Treated myself good this week. Got some jungle pie shatter and some biscotti ice cream and some other flavor. Oh, man, I spent the day in the crosswalk. In the crosswalk that I think is my personal driveway, I spent the day there and had two different police officers come. And they were all very nice. First one came. He remembered me from Avenue C. He said, just make sure you're safe. Don't be jumping out in front of cars. I said, well, cars may be jumping out in front of me. Maybe it's a little that way. Maybe you got to look at it that way. Oh, I hope I shut that off. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I have to walk away for a second. I left the stupid radio on. Hold on. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So it's been one of those weeks. Spent the week in the crosswalk pretty much almost every day. Back at it. Got a couple of middle fingers today. Well, I got one middle finger, but it was like 3 times. And then I got one guy just started filming me back, and I got one person filming me. I went up to him. I'm like, "Hey, we're trying to get a light here in the corner," and explaining what we're doing, and he just kind of walked away from me. And then one lady was very amused. She was sitting there, a big smile on her face, watching the whole thing. And then some people called the police because the second group of cops came, and they were like, just be. Oh, you know what happened? This is great. I'm going across the street, and a guy didn't stop, so I'm aggressively filmed him, aggressively with my phone. I stuck my phone out like that, like, gotcha, like that. I did that, and as I did it, I see a black car go behind it, put on their lights, and they lit him up, and they pulled him over. So the cops were actually somewhere nearby. I don't know where they were. Maybe they were the next car. And they just pulled him right over, gave him a ticket. And I was like, whoa. Then the cops came back, and they were like, yeah, we remember you from up there, and, just be safe. And they're really nice. And then they took off. And then I took off because they wrote a ticket. And I was like, I was done anyway. I was done until the guy yelled at me. I was done, and the guy yelled at me, so I did 10 more laps. And I'm glad I did the 10 more laps because then the guy got pulled over for almost killing me. So that was good. I think we're going to get that light someday. We're definitely going to get it. The more I go out there and keep doing this, the more chances are it's going to happen sooner than later. All right. I'm trying to get some people on the show here. Let's see. Are we on? Hold on. It's tough doing. Oh, you know what I can do? I can actually. This Bluetooth is great. I can call anybody. It's all hooked up. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever. Very cool. So I'm trying to call Mike, the guy that saved my ass. Uh, he really saved my butt, man. And this video of it, it's pretty cool. And we got Jim Miller. Jim
Yes,
Miller.
you do. Yeah. Oh, look at me. Yes.
Very dapper.
Yeah, it's long sleeve. Well, rolled up, but I switched over.
Very cool. What's going on, Mr. Miller?
I'm trying to figure out how to take the pictures on my phone and get them off. Normally I can post them. The only thing I can do automatically is post it on Facebook, but I have 6 pictures of Willie Beamer's court records, and I don't want to put them up there long enough to take it, save as a file for me. It's a roundabout thing because I don't know how to do it, and people show me how to do it. You say, well, just do this, do this, do this, and there it is. It doesn't stick, So it's when I told Ken about that and the others at the monthly meeting, CMM and J, he seemed to think that was like real important, and you have to get that. Lawyer should look at that. I mean, we need to know why. And I agree. But all I could say is, look, I kind of get it, and I got a lot of things to do, and hey, I was the one that showed up, so I'll get it done. But all of a sudden, it seems important. And I'm still trying to figure out the ramifications of what's going on in Lavalette after Tuesday. Somehow the postings, without me actually asking questions, it's usually clues, not specific, hey, here's what happened. And I have a hard time piecing things together, so I figure I'll wait till I get a full report from somebody that knows what's up.
Did you get to see it? You didn't get to see it.
No. I was up against doing other stuff, so I thought with other people doing it, there'd be like a fairly good bullet point account. Like stuff like another court date, what's going on? Is there a time frame? Did we learn something? Something happened. I don't know what.
Yes, things happened. They decided that Lavalette could not use the prosecutor, the town lawyer, as the prosecutor.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, so that's actually not legal or ethical. So they can't do that.
No shit. Okay. Who said they can't do it though?
Judge. The judge.
What judge?
The judge that was there. I forget his name.
Was it a county judge? Ocean County judge? Law? I mean, it's not. Is it a? See, this is Superior Court.
No, it's Lavalette Court, and
this is Lavalette Court. But so they have a.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I'm hoping Mikey or Steve or someone will join us.
So, Lavalette then has a borough attorney that can't deal with this. I'm getting confused as to what jurisdiction. I mean, if it's Lavalette, is it a Lavalette prosecutor? They have a prosecutor, a Lavalette. Yeah, I'm a prosecutor in Lavalette. I mean, somebody can say that.
Maybe the prosecutor didn't want to take the case.
But they have a prosecutor, and he's being made to take the case. Apparently, is that what you're saying? I'm confused. See, this isn't helping.
Yeah, it's confusing. It is confusing because.
The thing is, I don't mind showing how ignorant I am to try to find out what's going on, because I'll back it up to things that I think everybody maybe should understand, and I just don't.
No, it's kind of like, it looks like they're up against the wall, and they have to get a independent prosecutor.
This is Wally World. That is what it just. Okay, let's approach it from this direction. How do Steve and Mike feel about this?
Oh, they're happy.
Okay, that's a good start right there.
So am I.
Well, I'll take my cue from them.
Yes.
I should have started with that. My bad.
Yeah, here comes Mike. He'll talk about it. But yeah, it's a good.
I like the way I'm looking at your little diorama, and you're looking off to the side, going, "Oh, here comes Mike." No, I'm picturing him coming up through the pot field or something.
Mike's coming through the field. Here he comes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Here comes Mike through the field of pot. There he is.
Yeah.
I look weird tonight.
As opposed to.
Well, look at me. I look like I'm next to a building in a pot field. This is
a
look.
That's why when you look that way, because you're profiling us.
Yeah, I'm Hey, Bong Holio.
What's up, gentlemen?
Well, we're being profiled by Lefty. All right, how about this? Am I facing the same way? No. Yeah, look like I'm facing you now. What's up? Hey, you want this?
Actually, we're opposite. I'm on the other side of you.
No, I'm looking at like
you're
my
here.
hand.
You're here. You're here.
Well, I'm looking at the main board. I'm right next to you, right?
You're here. You're here.
Yes, certainly. There you go. Hold on. A minute. There, take a puff.
So yeah, I think Mike is happy that they're going to have a different independent prosecutor because the town prosecutor cannot be involved prosecuting this case. Apparently, I think the judge ruled that, right? Mikey was the judge.
Judge of what? What, Lavalette's judge? Do they have a judge? See,
well,
Mike, I'm confused.
Well, let me fill you in.
Well, first of all, though, because it will make it easier for me to understand. The last thing I asked Lefty is, okay, let me take my cue from how do Mike and Steve feel about this? And so they feel pretty good about it. Okay, So I know that because like you got kind of a poker face when you explain something good or bad, it's close to the same facial expression you have, you know?
Well,
So,
no word. That's the
yeah.
right question to ask is what was Mikey and Steve's take on it?
Then
That's
I take my
all you
cue
have-
from that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's all you have to ask.
yeah, but if somebody says, how's it going? They have
Well,
to
it's not-
they have to be able to do that too, because I can't explain it.
yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, it went weird, but it went good.
Okay.
Um,
First thing happened, who were you before? Judge who of what? Is a Superior Court judge? He's a municipal
no,
court judge?
no, he's the municipal judge for the
Okay.
area. He's the
The
judge.
the area, Seaside?
Yeah, like if you were Seaside, Point Pleasant, Lavalette.
This is like the old days out west, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the local judge. He's like the shore towns in Ocean
He's
County.
he's a circuit judge. He's got a
Yes.
circuit.
Yes, because these beach towns are very small, and there's a bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Oh, I know.
Stockholm,
I grew up there. Yeah, I
you
used
know.
to. I learned to surf there in 1965.
So his name is Judge Mastery, something like that. I'm just trying to spell it out when I see the word.
Yeah.
But yeah. So well, what was interesting was I think I'd mentioned to you, Jim, last time we had talked, or you might have read it in some text. Steve went to file the IA complaint against Davey Adam, who arrested us, and the municipal court clerk in Lavalette said that the prosecutor wouldn't be prosecuting this case, and it would be the township attorney. So that was when I mentioned it to you. We've all been kind of tossing this around, and we're like, "What does this mean?
Made no sense at all.
What is this all about?" So I mentioned this to Pat Duff Tuesday morning, the day of court. Pat immediately reached out to Bill Burns, the township attorney, got a response in less than 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, because he has sent some prior emails to. He was in
Oh
contact.
yeah, I know the history. I'm up to date on that. He knows people. You know.
Yeah,
Pat
Bill
does.
Burns hit him right back within 10
Yeah.
minutes. So, I'd sent him the message. I told him, I'm like, we got to figure this out. What's going on? And within 10 minutes, Bill Burns already replied back and said that he would not be prosecuting the case. Then Pat gave me a call. We talked about it. And we both kind of agreed that if he is prosecuting it, he'd be the last one to find out. So he said no, he's not going to be the one. He just responded like, no, I'm not prosecuting that. Like, no, that's not true. So I'm not sure what's going on, but the judge basically said that there's a conflict of interest with this case, and the prosecutor will not be prosecuting this case. So they have to outsource. This is what he said. They have to find a prosecutor who will. And I'm sorry with the word, and I'm just this is my
it's doing better. Yeah.
And how I received the information. But he basically said that they need to find somebody who will prosecute this case. And our next court date is November 14th, I believe, or the 16th. Middle of November is our next court date. And the judge said, if they haven't found somebody at that point,
you're good.
He's going to respond to the motion, because the first thing legally, technically speaking, the judge has to respond to the motions that were filed.
Motions meaning
the motion to dismiss.
Okay.
I have one and Steve has one.
Yeah.
So legally speaking, technically he has to respond to that first. So we were both expecting to hear that, but he wasn't able to respond to it because the judge said he found out that morning that there was a conflict of interest, and they have to outsource a conflict prosecutor. That was the term they used. That's what it was. Conflict prosecutor. Okay.
They just found out that morning. That's
the judge found out that morning. He said that. Yep. So, because it's also like, how long does it take to respond to a motion as a judge? Right. I mean, this has been over 30 days since our last court appearance. So
how long does it take to figure out who should be the judge?
Well, it's an illegal arrest to pursue a legal prosecuting something illegally or whatever. They're obviously jammed up. This is very clear.
Not your problem. It's their problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And the judge said if they don't, if they're not able to,
set you free.
by your next court date, if they're not able to have somebody who's going to take this case, he said he'll move forward with responding to the motion.
Okay, yeah, then
So that tells me that gives me every indication that the judge would dismiss it.
yeah, he can't say that to you, but the way
He can't say that, but the way
he can line it up. He can say A equals B and C equals B.
yeah.
He doesn't have to say A equals C. You follow? It's like it's a math thing. Yeah.
For sure. And I've been very, worried about how this will play out. Not worried, but concerned about how they're going to navigate and that kind of stuff. When you get your rights violated, you obviously worry about a continuation of violations.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to Pat before the court date or whatever, he was like, they're going to drop it. And I was like, I respect the hell out of Pat and his opinion and his perspective, but I'm like, that's not the case. They're actually outsourcing a prosecutor. We had a conversation. And he's like, no, it's a legal arrest. They're not allowed to do that. They're going to have to drop it. I'm like, but after hearing the judge, I had a little bit of I've had a little bit of relief and reassurance that there's nowhere for them to turn, move, step.
Yeah.
They have to let this one go. We're going to see what happens, obviously. But that's where it stands. Bill Burns, if he's the one going to do it, he's not even aware of it at this point, or at least on Tuesday. I guess he would be the last one to find out. He's our township attorney. They're going to throw him on any legal matter that they can, and I don't know if pinch hitting for a prosecutor is a thing. Not even sure if that's ethical. I'm not sure. I don't even think I've never heard of that myself.
No. Yeah, that didn't make sense.
That's where we stand.
But okay, when this very first happened, everybody looked at everything they had to look at before it wound up at all. It seems pretty clear cut that they're gonna have to drop it because of so many obvious things. But then even hearing that what's her name? Linda Graves, the lawyer who was like weighing in and pissing me off at the board meeting. At the monthly meeting. Saying no, and she started naming stuff and how this is how it works in Lavalette. And I'm like, look, you're a lawyer. I know things work differently in different municipalities, but this isn't Trump world. You can't just make shit up as you go along and really expect to keep getting away with it. But with this one, it just seems like them going further, they're going to go in and do some stupid shit. And then you're going to come out with a better case against them afterwards I hope
so, Jim. Because there still is a good portion of concern, considering all the factors and all the components on the table. There is still some concern that this could not be favorable the way this plays out.
There has to be something that they know that you don't for that to happen, though. When I say they, the Lavalette bunch, the man, they have to have a plan and they don't expect this or they don't expect that because
you know what? I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Jim.
How honest were you being until then?
Right. Well, when I say that, Jim, I'm thinking about this right now to myself. And I'm trying to, what I'm saying is to be completely honest to myself right now.
Okay.
I will definitely say any outcome will blow my mind. That's like where I'm at with the reading of things and stuff like that. That's exactly what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Whatever happens, it will blow my mind.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I kind of think of it like having a symptom of a disease that you don't know what it is exactly, and there's a lot of things it could be. It doesn't mean it's going to be any one of them, and you got to be ready for that. What the fuck? Or I can't say what the frick, what the F? Anyway, but it's like death isn't going to be the outcome as in that analogy. So again, I'm trying not to smile at, I find it, for me, outside looking in, or literally in this case, um, everything feels right that it's going to end with you smiling. You know, I just,
I
I mean, so again, take my
and I
cue
agree
from,
with that.
I would take,
That's how I
yeah.
feel as well. I
So,
certainly
yeah, so much like people do with religion, I don't try to figure out how and why. I'm not capable. Far smarter people might be, but it's just sort of like I don't. I got a lot of other things where I need my mental acuity, and this isn't one of them. It's more like become a spectator
well,
thing. I
it's
can't do anything really to help otherwise, you know.
yeah. I mean, it's felt good. So I
Yeah,
guess if it turns out in my favor, that will be
it's
mind
good.
blown. But that's also part of why if it doesn't, it will be mind blown. You know, the law is
Yeah.
supposed to work in
Yes,
a
I see.
certain
Yeah.
way. It doesn't
Yeah.
always mean it does, but the
Yeah.
law is supposed to work in a certain way. And I'm a firm believer of this is supposed to be a certain way.
Yeah.
It's that simple to me. It's that simple. It's supposed to go a certain way, and I expect it to. Although I will be mind blown if it does work, and the law
Yeah.
does work, but I will also be mind blown if it does not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. 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 You can, if they
and
have,
and
if they,
winning in court is always weird. It always feels weird.
I don't know.
I mean, even if you get some nonsense dropped, you have to fight it. You have
Yeah.
to take time off of work. You're losing pay.
Yeah.
You're taking a hit while you're winning.
Yeah.
It always feels weird. It's always felt weird. Any version of winning in court to me has always felt a little strange or weird.
Well, I also,
And the strange was definitely there, but it did feel good with the way it played out. I've never experienced
yeah.
something like, you
Well,
know, but
maybe
good.
this will work out in some manner that after the fact, there may be a lawyer take interest in, you know what you could do now that this is all at this point, and kind of hustle in, see if he can maybe pick up some pieces and represent you in a civil case. But that'll be totally dependent on how this plays out, that we don't really know how it's going to play out. But I'm looking at it from that direction. So in that direction, the more that they screw up now, the better that would be for later.
For
I mean,
sure, for sure.
yeah,
I was, I mean,
yeah. Well, you'll
I was always fearful of them arresting me. But the main thing that I wanted to achieve, if they wound up arresting me, which they did, was that their policy, their unlawful policy, be completely dismantled and not exist anymore, where people
no,
can go in there and film.
no,
And we have that right now. We're already there with that. They're allowing people to film.
no.
Their new rule is there's 5 seats,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
if
you've had that
you're one
effect
of those
already.
5 people, you
So,
sit in that
yeah.
seat, and there's a sign on the wall that says recording area only.
Well, that's due
Right?
to everything that went on. So there is a positive effect
So,
already.
so so that was, that was my main thing I would have wanted to change if they had arrested me,
Yeah.
and they did. And it was
Yeah.
really sad on their end.
Well, let me say that, Lavalette obviously has operated this way for a long time and probably gone largely unchallenged for what you say, that if you challenge from within, you got to live there, and it's a small town. It's come back and bite you in the ass. That keeps the natives from being restless. But don't think there aren't some that would just love to see this work out great for you,
For
because
sure. Yeah, no, I do believe that.
but they got dirt, man. You can get some, if during this, while you're doing this, if Brian Cummings could by any chance have a grip on who in Lavalette might be really hoping you do well, and why. What is it they know about Wally World that they're not saying anything about? So find all this out and get it. It's like what a lawyer would do, would want to spring, and because more for later after this, not for what we're talking about here, but if this works out in your favor, There could be some people want to pile on, maybe if you want to go after them yourself to help
Yeah.
advise you on what you could bring up and, use to rub their
What's
face.
What's interesting is after the July 24th arrest of me and Steve, every single meeting has had some sort of, change or like almost like violation to a degree. Because like even when they have this recording section now and they put a piece of paper on the wall saying recording section area only. When we went the last time I was there, when Pat Duff showed up, Lefty showed up, we were considerate of their new request. But we weren't legally bound to sit in these 5 chairs because they just threw a piece of paper up on the wall. Every single meeting since this arrest has just been some more, shooting by the hip side. Nothing is legally binding. But since they actually took some steps to remedy the problem that they cultivated, right?
Yeah.
We were considerate. And we said we'd sit
well,
here.
they have to do that.
He was upset about it because he couldn't get good audio from the back of the room.
Yeah.
I know that was something that bothered him.
Well, if you read the 2007 New Jersey Supreme Court thing, they were very specific that reasonable accommodations need to be made for where, when, and how, or something, meaning they do have the right to try to do what they're doing.
Off the bat, if it was these 5 seats are going to be your recording area only, those are the reasonable restrictions that in my eyes, would be legally legitimately in place. If that was something, if that's the ordinance that they came up with, I could live with that.
But then that ordinance, but it should be an ordinance, like you said.
Well, it would have to be. It would have to be, and that's what I mean. Again,
written, codified, written down, not a sign in the wall somewhere,
which they never had originally for not being able to film.
Exactly.
So
that would be good to that effect, and we'll see what happens. I mean, in the end, the fact that both of you were as civil as could be, they don't have anything, any dirt. I mean, they got whatever they got and whatever they can kind of get away with.
Nothing can be used against us. Is what you're saying. Yep, I know.
Pretty much. So I think they're just probably buying time. How do you know they didn't set this whole thing up? What's it put back now another month, a little more, right?
That's all they had to buy was one more month.
Yeah, but that's why it's like maybe they got to. We don't want to drop this now, so let's extend it.
And too early to have it your way right away. It ain't Burger King.
Well, okay. They said they want this judge there that even we knew. They can't do that, can they? They can't do that, can they? They knew they can. Everybody probably knew they couldn't. They did it anyway. Oh no, the day of what's going on or day before. No. We can't let that happen. That would be unethical. No shit, Sherlock, every step of the way to them. So it just seems an obvious way of buying a month just to let you sit on the seat for a month.
Well, the bottom line is the prosecutor cannot legally, I guess, or it's not, the prosecutor is not going to be involved. So that's good news.
It was never,
you know what I mean? The prosecutor cannot be involved for whatever reason. That's basically all I was told when you really break it all down. We asked for the reason. We said, what's the reason? What's the reason that there's a conflict? What could it be?
Did I owe you an explanation for that?
I would think so. We both are asking for an explanation.
I would too, but
well, you watched how the Willie Beamer dismissal went, wanting an explanation, because we both asked the judge for an explanation, and we both asked for there to be an explanation next month.
Well, just along those lines, it'll be curious to find out. Willie also was going. I got to get in touch with he said, "Do you think I should continue on or back to the what do you call it, the court-appointed lawyer to find out what he found out in discovery?" Because he had to go through discovery to be the lawyer. He had to know what was going on. So if they were going to be doing a trial thing, it's like he has information. Willie wants everything, public defender. I want to know, because he needs to know why it was dropped and or just dismissed, to know how he feels about it. Don't forget, he was arrested shortly before his daughter graduated high school. And so he wasn't able to be at her graduation because he was led away in handcuffs. You know,
That's
when that happens, my bad isn't good enough.
no.
You know, so basically, you know, I looked through it and like read all the way through, but the reasons for the search warrant, it was like and somebody informed them of a grow, and then he could see it from the road. It doesn't matter if you can see it from the road, you can't start going and doing shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see it from the road, you go get a proper warrant and come back. You don't. So I think it was something as freaking stupid as that. But to me, you know, he's going to need more information. It doesn't say that, you know, but it's it will be interesting.
I mean,
And
to me, you always read between the lines with these kinds of things, and you pick up on the clues that are being given. To me, I know other people may have other opinions, possibly if they're up to date with what's happening here. But I think the reason why the prosecutor is not going to be involved is because the prosecutor does not want to be involved. It's like if somebody went and shitted in the bathroom and made it completely filthy, and then someone hands you a mop and some paper towels and some cleaner, and they say, go in there and clean up that mess. You know, I'm sorry about it, but you got my back, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch that as a prosecutor. So my heart and my gut tells me that the prosecutor does not want anything to do with it.
Okay, well, who tells the prosecutor what he can and does? I mean, is that the mayor? I want to be clear. In other words, if it was up to him, he's not going to have anything to do with it. But
Well,
can
if the prosecutor,
somebody tell him to? Who tells
well,
him?
let's say the
I'm a
prosecutor,
Fuck you.
let's say the prosecutor is completely like hands off, doesn't want anything to do with it. You know, I would imagine that, like, I guess in this situation, the township they don't want to drop it. I mean, I don't know how much of this is a facade, how much of this is just for show. But if they're going to continue to fight it, then I would imagine the prosecutor wants nothing to do with it, and they're going to put their resources and their energy and their effort into trying to prosecute with the township attorney. I'm not really sure.
No,
it's very strange, the whole thing, you know.
We'll find out. You know, I'm getting a headache. You know, no, it's
crazy though, ain't it? It's so
it really is. It's just, I don't know.
It's crazy, man. It's
try not to smile. I don't know what to say.
For what it's worth, I'm okay with the way it's playing.
Yeah, I cannot smile.
Very interesting court appearance on Tuesday. You know, it's very rarely do you hear the judge like carefully speak and tippy-toe around what's happening out of fear that he may almost say something wrong, or you know what I mean? Like, just like,
well, yeah,
there's definitely a feeling of I've done nothing wrong. What are we doing about it?
Yeah, right.
I didn't do anything wrong. So
you know what I'm not feeling back from them is, well, we didn't do anything wrong either. They're not exuding that anymore, you know. That's the way I feel about it. And you know, I got no skin in the game. I get to feel however I want. I can't stop smiling. I'm just trying to reason that to you, because if this was like a conference call, I wouldn't be saying nothing about my smile.
No, here you get to soda pop it and popcorn it all day on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Did you get any Oprah requests back yet?
The one I still haven't gotten, which is the one they're telling me that I have to pay for, which doesn't make any sense, is the because I need to see the activity log of the Facebook page of the police department, because I'm still blocked on the government Facebook page of the Lavalette Police. I still can't see new posts. That page does not belong to them. Those council chambers do not belong to them. The public owns them. The same reason why they do not own the body camera footage of Jen Coombs' arrest that they told Pat Duff that they had the intellectual property over. These are public records. These are public places and spaces, and they do not belong to the people who are elected. They're supposed to highlight and enunciate and be they're not supposed to be a burden, and I mean, this, you know, this is public shit.
Corrupt. That's what they are. Lavalette's corrupt. We're showing it more and more every day.
No one's above the law, not even Lavalette.
Ignorance is no excuse, Lavalette. Ho, ho.
Elected officials should be an enhancement of the public's voice. They just treat all that shit like it's theirs, and they want to privatize everything. And when you go to a Lavalette meeting, okay, so we don't know, except for the few times we filmed, right, a couple times. But if members of the public who are from Lavalette speak at the council meeting, they don't have a timer. There is no timer. Wally allows them to speak as long as they want. And I love that about a town, allowing their residents to speak as long as they want. I think that's great. How often do they have council meetings? How often are these elected officials trying to be an enhancement of the voice of the public? So I think that's great. But when an out-of-towner gets up there, he has his little sand frickin' timer. What is it, a 2-minute or a 3-minute? I forgot, Lefty.
2-minute.
It's a 2-minute, and he flips it right away. You're out of town, he flips that timer, and you have 2 minutes. And the second that timer's up, you are done. It is time to get the hell out of here. It's time to go home. And last time we were there, he even said, and these are people who have nothing to do with Lavalette.
Do I remember? Do I remember him? I seemed obviously seen this somewhere, but when your time was coming due, he was like he had his hand ready to go. He was like already reaching for it. Got it. You know.
Yeah, I believe, and because I've seen Wally and the way he postures, and I've seen videos of other stuff, in the past.
Yeah.
Whatever was available. I definitely believe Wally has a red button that he hits it and it alerts the police from downstairs to come upstairs.
Oh, sure, that could be. Why not?
Yeah, because I've seen him reach for that button.
Well, that would be a really decent precaution for anybody with the police that close, and you are the mayor, and look what happened to Harvey Milk.
I've definitely, been to a lot of town councils, and it's not like every town every time has police there.
No.
But every single time in Lavalette, there's always 2 cops at least there at the door. And if you watch the arrest video of me and Steve, after Steve was arrested, Adam shuts the door. He shuts the door, and then he has to knock on it so a member of the public can open it up, because it's now locked. It's now locked. So a member from the public cannot come up to the double door entrance and cross your magic threshold to your private council chambers that's ran by public tax money. He had to knock on the door so he could get in. Why is the door locked? So to guard that kind of, corruption, because that's what it is. That's why they try to keep it private. They have a lot to hide.
Yeah. Well, in Brick, the fact that they have their council meeting like right across from the police, it's like one's on one side of the hallway, the other's on the other. They're always going to be there. Weirdly enough, sidebar a little bit, that was the one there where, as a patient, I was while I was outside from the darkening parking lot, because it was getting dark, I forget what somebody yelled out to me, but it was moderately threatening in nature. I really have no fear. I mean, like, if somebody's going to yell from a darkened parking lot, well, he's a pussy, just come up and say something to me. But I was the only one outside then. So I went back in and explained to the police there what happened. I said, come on, I'm going back to use my medicine. I want you to watch. So I made one of them come, and he stood in the doorway while I walked over right up to the darkened parking lot and had smoked my medicine. And he was like 20 feet or 25 feet away. But it was just, to me, I got just a kick out of, come on, let's go. Been verbally accosted out in the parking lot, and I'm going to smoke my medicine, and here you are just standing outside there. Let's go. And then I went and walked. I didn't talk about it. I just did that, and he had no choice, because if something happened, it was his ass. I could see that all at once. I mean, that's why I went back in, trying not to smile again, like, oh my God, to get what this guy said, somebody's going to kick my ass or something. I think I probably lied about what he said too, because it sounded better the way I said it. What do I care? It was true. I remembered it differently. We
Yeah,
get
I
to,
remember. I
yeah, we
remember
get to do
that.
that.
I remember that, Rick. After
Yeah,
that happened, you
yeah.
came in and you sat down. You actually sat next to me and you told me that right after it happened.
Well, you'll hear me saying a lot that right after home grow was pulled out of the bill in 2009, that Senator Scutari said out in the hallway afterwards to reporters that we could go back and revisit home grow, at whatever point, however he phrased it. And I'm more specific in the way that I remember it, with whatever words I want to remember at that time. Because if he ever did say that's not what I said, or I don't remember saying that, we'd be talking, whether it was through somebody else or other medium or not. And that's the goal, to flush him out, So the more I get to publicly start saying things that he said, I don't care if he said them or not, I'll make it up from the beginning. It's all about perception anyway. And if my story fits better than his lack of story,
So be it.
yeah, well, I get to test some of this out with the fact that we're going to coin the term, and it exists and it will exist elsewhere, canna washing. That's what Republican senators are doing here with their co-sponsorship. They know the bill was going nowhere. They don't plan on ever asking him to post it for hearing, because then they'd have to weigh in on it. They don't want to weigh in. It's sort of like, hey, look, only 3 Democrats co-sponsor this, because they can't co-sponsor it because that'll piss off their party's Democratic leader. That's why there's only 3 Democrats jumping on board with a Democrat's cannabis patient home grow bill. They can't. Senator Scutari is the one largely responsible for their committee assignments. If Joe Vitelli wants to be a health committee chairman, he has to do what Senator Scutari says. Everybody does. But you don't have to say it. Let's look at Donald Trump. Does he really have to tell people he's going to be pissed off and retaliate? No, you know it. So he doesn't have to say it. So I'm assuming it's the same thing in Democratic Senate, judging by 3. And I think Republicans hopped on and said, if we can get like 1/3 of our, ranks doing this, we're going to look like the ones that are the saviors for medical marijuana patients when it comes to the most important thing that could ever happen to them once they become a patient, is to get the right to grow their own. We're going to look like we're pushing for that with our co-sponsorship, but we don't have to do anything else. We co-sponsor and walk away. That's all we need to do to have that kind of washing. It distracts from their bad deeds of the past. I mean, look up NA washing, green washing, blue washing, sports washing. You get a good idea of it. It's a real thing that you look up canna washing, and tells you how to wash cannabis. Well, if you want to clean it, yeah. So I don't care if it is or isn't a real thing. Here it is. If I make that accusation or get somebody else to make the accusation, especially before an election, the easiest way to say that's not true is to simply email Senator Scutari and say, we'd like you to put this bill up for an informational hearing, especially Senator Dorr, but any of them, that we'd like it to be heard this session. Any Republican, anyone, to do that. That's the way you say I'm wrong about canna washing. If nobody asks, then I can take that argument to the bank after that. So either way, we're going to sort of gain something, because Lefty, what do you think? I mean, nothing else. Actually, I'm not saying I think that's true. I'm just saying that makes more sense by far than any other thing I can come up with. Why would somebody? Now, I could write it down and they could copy and paste it to Senator Scutari. It would take a minute. It's going to take them 15 minutes to try to explain why it's not true. So why explain it's not true? Prove it. Just ask for it to be posted for a hearing. It's information. It's not a vote. It's not a voting session. It doesn't take any caucusing. It's, do you want information, or do you want to continue to say the reason we didn't move this is there's no will in the legislature? You can't say there's no will. You're not letting them have what they need by definition to have a well-informed opinion. They're keeping information from the people while saying they don't want it. but they're keeping information for what would cause them to want it away from them. Wow. Why am I the only, I don't mean amongst us, but am I the only one that seems so shocked about that? I mean, that it can just go on right in front of everybody and it adds up. Republicans are the party of no, everything cannabis, everything medical cannabis. 13 people voted against post-traumatic stress and it request of 3 veterans going in, 13, all Republicans in the assembly, you know, and it didn't fare much better really in the Senate, but they were a little smarter about it. But when you have 13 votes against veterans being able to deal with their post-traumatic stress legally and be in the program, when 13 people say no to that, legislators, assembly, and they're all Republicans, who's the party of no? I mean, there it is. Now, 6 years later, they're trying to come to the rescue of patients so they get to grow 4 plants and 4 immature plants. Doesn't look like it. And I'll know how I feel about it more in about a week, depending on if we get replies from Bucco or a Scanlon. But if all of a sudden they all go dark, like they don't, like a Scanlon doesn't return something to Seth, or Bucco to, you know, or Door to Willie's letters going out to Door, and it's really good. It's a little bit long, but it's going to start with one question. Here's the only question. Here's the background you really want to read before you answer this question. So that, you know, and my signature, whoever is doing incoming emails today, when you get this, would you please respond that you received it? So I will know a reply will be forthcoming at some point. Simply that. The first thing, when you're done reading this, I'm asking you to simply, you know, we've got it. And that either happens or it just goes on forever because they don't even want to do that. But this is gonna be interesting. And then it becomes a matter of, if they don't let you hit the ground running by having a hearing, then you got to be ready to hit the ground running big time somehow. But I just can't. I'm not the guy. I'm getting really tired of this. You know, I need something good to happen. So let's see if it comes together. Who knows, right? It's gonna be an interesting time between things we got going on now and then jumping into the Lavalette thing at the same time. It's stuff's gonna be moving, you know, interesting stuff. Yeah. Oh, also, if there is another court day, if it doesn't just get dismissed before then, now it's virtual court, but there is a court, an actual court. I mean, if it wasn't virtual, there'd be a court to go to. Where is the judge? Is he at that court, or is he like in a bedroom somewhere?
Now,
is he at the court? Because we could always,
he is. No, he is.
A sign could be hoisted outside the court, whether or not the trials, because
for sure. No, for sure. I called because what's weird is they don't give you the passcode to the meeting until like an hour before your court date. Because last time this happened, I was freaking out because I didn't have the passcode and meeting ID number. This has happened before with like other towns too. It's like you're trying to get the passcode and the meeting ID number. It's like ridiculous. But like she sent it because they only open their offices in Lavalette at I think 1:30. It's a small town. They're not open at 9 o'clock. So they open like an hour before court. And I was calling all morning, but I had to wait until, you know, the 1:30 time.
Yeah.
Or 1 o'clock. I forget what it was, but it was like afternoon. It was after like 12 o'clock, you know.
But they wouldn't allow me to go there. I mean, they're telling you, don't give it out. Don't give it out.
Well, I called on Tuesday, like around 1 o'clock after they sent me the passcode. And I asked them about in-person court. I said, is that an option? Am I allowed to like opt out of you know, virtual or whatever? Am I allowed to go there? Just, you know, and they said that they do a hybrid. She said no one ever goes goes to actual court there since they've been doing it. And she said they do a hybrid. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I reached out and asked, because they're giving you the Zoom information. They say a virtual hearing. You know what I mean? Their suggestion is like you continue with your virtual hearing. But after she said it was a hybrid, technically I could show up in person. I didn't know that until Tuesday morning when I'd already went to work and wasn't going to miss the day anyway. Not for that.
Well, for people who can't get the password, that would like to simply sit there and take part, like a spectator.
Apparently they'll
Now,
do it.
Now, but if somebody wasn't given that, you know, and just to do it by phone, you know, I mean, on a phone, not at a home computer, theoretically, that person could be in Lavallette, and well, it's not in person, and you're not allowed on your phone. Well, I'm here. I might as well hold up a sign then while I'm here. You know, it's to the person holding up a sign outside, as I've done a lot more than I've gone inside. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's the same courtroom. So it represents a 100% of what it represents at a Zoom meeting.
Right.
It's outside. And this way, in Lavallette, people know something's going on. What do they know is going on when you're on a Zoom meeting?
For
they
sure.
don't know shit. Yeah.
And that's what I was torn over. I'm like, you know,
well,
this
that's
crazy
part of
that
it.
I like.
Gee, maybe that's why they don't want to have the meeting in person. Or we can't accommodate that. Maybe that's a plan. Hey, listen, we have to have a Zoom meeting. People show up with signs and stuff, and then people are going to find out.
For court said you have a virtual hearing. I would have known it was a hybrid. How the hell would I have known that?
Yeah.
Unless I reached out and asked that question.
Well, listen, between now and then, plenty of time. Think about something, especially 65 or so characters, including spaces, that you might want on a sign while you're at virtual court there being held. Because if we can't find 3 or 4 people to find wherever, you know, I mean,
I think the next court date from what I feel, it's going to be all or nothing on that next one. They're either going to, if they don't dismiss it, then I think I'm going to know that they're in for the long haul. And if they do dismiss it, like, I think next court date. I think
but either way, if you would want something outside court, I mean, your standard silent, just holding signs, not doing nothing. There's always a safe place. And I could go and find out and say, I'm going to be holding some signs. I want to know where you're not going to have a problem with that. It doesn't matter to me if it's a block away, across on the other side of the road. I don't care. Don't care at all. It's somewhere where people see it. If it's okay, the next block down in front of the bakery, okay, I'll go there. You know, think what would you want represented that way? You know, and maybe about 4 different things, and because every sign has 2 sides, that's 2 right there.
You know, I was worried about the possibility of sharing. Well, I don't want to say worried, but like, well, yeah, I guess concerned, whatever. I wouldn't put anything past them. They don't want you sharing the passcode. So I was like, I hope they don't have a problem with it, because I shared the passcode with whoever was willing to, you know, view as a spectator, or just someone who would normally show up to court anyway, or whatever. I shared with Lefty, shared with all you guys.
Yeah.
And they said, like, Lefty joined, and I've been in other Zoom like court cases, and they're always asking everybody who is who, make sure your name is actually your name, so they know who's who. Anyone who they don't know, they're asking, who are you? What are you doing here? What's your business? Are you on the docket?
Yeah. You gotta wonder why though.
Proceeding that Zoom court hearings are like abiding by. And no one said nothing. Lefty, they didn't ask him who he was, what he was doing.
Same as if he walked in, same as if he had a tie and jacket on and walked into an in-person court and walked in. Nobody stops you and says, why are you here? They want to make sure you're addressed properly and you walked in.
That's all they saw, Jim. They didn't touch it. And they knew who he was, you know, but
I'm saying that they do it different. They like Zoom meetings because they can do that. Look at what's in it for them. It's not a matter of, it's better for our money. No, they get more secrecy. They get more everything. They don't.
Is that all?
And then it's done by design.
Right.
For all those advantages.
And out of all the corruption that's going on in Lavalette, I've seen other towns do it. I've seen other towns try to kick people and actually kick people out of the
Yeah.
room if they're not supposed to be there or don't have business on the docket. So I definitely thought they were going to give some shit or give some trouble and grief, and they didn't touch it. So I was like, that's cool. All right. That's a little weird baby win, but I'll take it.
Well, see what it brings, I don't look like I'm smiling when I sit back this far. I like it. Wait a second, I'm on small screen. Maybe you can see me smiling. Oh, fuck. I'm way bigger now. I can't sit far enough away. You'll see me smiling. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, I'm really sorry that how this is working out. I'd never make it as an actor. It's weird. Like a mirror, but not a mirror. Cool. And tonight can end up. I live with quite the Phillies fan, Phillies and Eagle. Man, I still got to explain things about the game of baseball and a game of football all fucking game. But she knows who she likes. If it hits the wall and bounces and they get it, is it a hit? Although I do have one problem with baseball in general is forever, and it still is batter up. Everybody that walks the plate has a bat. They're a batter. They're not a hitter. They're a batter. If they get hits, they're a good hitter, but they're a batter. So they always get referred to as hitters. And if the guy doesn't touch the ball with a bat 5 times in a row, he was a batter. He had a bat every time. And, it's, and the way they say Castellanos, like Casty, Anos, Castellanos. It's Castellanos. It's Castell, Enos. It's not Castellanos. I know his family probably says Castellanos. Casty. The guy's nickname could be Casty.
Casty.
No. And I am going, if first time when it gets balls and strikes called automatically, I'm going to go ball game that does that. Philadelphia. I'll go anywhere, just knowing they're getting the calls right. I don't know what, I don't really care that much, and it's hard for me to watch the whole game through. But like when I'm watching a ball game and they show where the strike zone is, like with a white square, and then they show the ball with the white dot as it goes by in real proportion, and you see a baseball width between where the strike zone is and where the ball is, and it goes strike, and the guy goes, yeah, that call it the outside corner. And I'm like, no, it didn't. You're showing me graphics that say otherwise, and it's not radio, dude. I can see it now, No. Thought I'd share it. My edibles are catching up to me now. I waited until we started. I want to have some good brainwaves going for a while, but there is just a lot of
Is there a chip inside the ball or something, or how do they do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Because the ball comes in rotating, a knuckleball might be hard, but it'll be in the center of the ball, and so it takes that into account. Like if a ball's 3.5 inches wide, it'd be 1 3/4 inches, leeway. It would be able to be very accurately tell you where it is. Yeah, extremely accurate. And the only thing against it now is instead of like if the ball comes in, it would take this long to get you'd have to hear a beep and then make the call. So it'd be like, boom, strike, that long, and I say it's worth adjusting to that. I mean, God, the fact that they like tell you how fast you have to pitch or it becomes an automatic strike. And you have to be ready in the batter's box, ready to take a pitch 8 seconds before the clock runs out. Now, the pitcher can go right up and the batter better be there, you know? And you can only call timeout one time to adjust your gloves every, you know. I love that they did that as a bigger change in balls and strikes, but
I think it's.
yeah, especially if I have $1 on the game and their call causes me to lose $2 or something.
Oh,
I
what was
can't-
the outcome of that game that you had the dollar on, Tim?
It didn't work by 1 inning. And
What happened? Something in the ninth?
well, yeah, it's the Braves came on and won 5-4. And they did that like in the last inning. So what happened is I had 3 scores. I had 4-3 Phillies, 5-4 Phillies, and 5-2 Phillies. So when it was 4-3, I had it and they got 2 runs and it became 5-4 them. So I had the right score, but I couldn't bet against the Phillies. I can't do that. It's only because I don't want to be sitting here going, yeah, if they lose, it won't work out well. It's just short story, never mind. Long story short, no, short story, never mind. So that's kind of ironic, you know. And you know, it's I passed on betting on the game. They won 10-2, but scores like that, there's like $300. I mean, they hardly ever, if you pick, okay, this one's going to be 10-2, that's a very high, it doesn't happen a lot, you know, not a common score like 4-3. But I don't know, now I watch golf for $1, you know. I could bet on who's going to be leading at the end of the day. And then I like them because they offer you money to buy your ticket back if you're getting close to winning. It's like deal or no deal, you know, because if you were about to win, say $50,
Oh,
they
that's
could
cool.
they could
They
offer
give
you
that
$20
option.
$20 before this goal goes off. And then you got to go like, no, I think he's gonna win, but you know, and I just want
that's tough. That's
I
tough.
know it is, right? So
I don't like that. I don't
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I don't like
Well,
that extra like
I don't either.
psychological mental
I've-
beat down. I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, I'm
Just gotta
never
go
gonna,
with that.
I'm never gonna get, it's like, okay, you just won something, double or nothing. No,
No,
I don't
it's
want,
yeah.
I don't want
I
that.
don't like when the brain has tricked itself into thinking that you've hit a reward or you've hit a win
Yeah.
when it's actually a
Yeah.
loss.
I want to
And
take it.
there's a lot of psychological craziness that goes into that, and I'm not okay with it. You make a
Yeah.
bet, you just let it roll. You know,
You
it's
know,
good for them to give you the
I'll tell
option
you.
because then they make you your madness gets
But
into it.
the
You know,
be- the
for someone
best-
who enjoys the gambling and they love the
Well,
you know reward system, and
I
they're
went
just
to
targeting like your activity for you know.
I went to Las Vegas for the NFL league championship weekend with brother Kevin and brother Tom. My brother Kevin paid for it all. So man, it was like one big blur. This is like what 10, 12 years ago or something. And it was awesome. I won money. And then I came back and Kathy wanted to go to a casino and I said, that's cool, you know. And so we went. But generally, when we go, she's like, well, if I was going to play, and I played like a little, I already won some money, but we split. If we're going somewhere, we'd spend about the same amount of money and we either both lose or both win. It's just better. You don't want to ride home a winner and somebody lost money and you can't go, yay, you know, and that works. So what happened though is they had like a 3x5 card you could fill out and put it in a bin. And they do this shit, and 10 people would get $1,000, and they'd call it off every hour for like 8 hours. So that's a good day. And she's gonna throw it in. I said, "Ho, ho, ho, ho!" So I got it. Like, and if this is it, I went like that. You threw it in. maybe it'll get on the top. I don't know. It's not all flattened out. Maybe when you put your hand in, you got this. You son of a bitch. If they didn't call her name out. And now she's very, oh, I mean, like I had to grab her by the shoulders, like, don't make me slap you, like, yeah. But it looked like this when she went, I get half, right? So there's somebody else right there gonna pop like that, And then the weirdest thing of all with that, the machine malfunctioned, and I thought it should have paid me something, and it didn't. And they can go look back at all your plays, so they're watching what I'm saying and going, I see what you mean. And then they went to look for a book that comes with it. They couldn't find one. They opened every machine, like 15 of the same machine. Couldn't find any of it, what they needed. Kathy remembers at least 5 people around, and they say the only thing we can think of doing is we're just going to pay it out because So while they've made that decision, and they gave me a voucher or something, yeah, and they got a voucher and brought it back. And when they were doing that, I figured out what happened. I knew they shouldn't pay me. It should have been 50, not 300. And they're coming and get me $300. And I'm like, oh crap. Don't figure it out, man. Don't figure it out. I'm distracting. They give me that. I got to go spend some quick or whatever, get a different thing. They can't find it. And they had all those machines closed down the rest of that night. And then I never played it again. I kid you not. A year later, the same mistake happened for a lesser amount. We called them again and they paid again. What are the odds of that? Seriously.
Wow.
It's impossible. I got a witness in the other room. There'd be like, that's bullshit. No, that happened again. That's way more fun than regular winning something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but the football betting is crazy in Las Vegas. So I'm in a casino and I'm looking as a bar, but the entire side is open. It's like if you were on a boardwalk or something. The whole thing is open to the floor, and there's a bar, and there's all one side on one side of the bar and all the other uniform on the other side of the bar, and they're going crazy. And I looked up and saw like Larry Fitzgerald catch a pass, scored a touchdown that won me money while I had money coming out of a slot machine at the same time. Oh, right. I forgot about this.
This is great.
Yeah. I told Kathy Kansas City's her second favorite team.
They don't cover though. They don't. I went to Denver in this because they just don't cover. Crazy.
Yeah, I definitely would like to. Denver's like 1-4 to their 4-1. So
terrible team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
some to win.
I don't know. It's not like I don't like Patrick. It's just that he gets paid so much money, and I don't begrudge a guy doing commercials, but don't play the buffoon. You're like a sports hero to kids, I mean, imagine Mickey Mantle being a goofy shill for something, I mean, kids deserve actual heroes. They don't see acting stupid. I mean, if he was a good actor, maybe, but he's not. Peyton Manning has that mantle, though. And that covering your mouth stuff. He's just looking at it close. That bothers me. I think I'd like to see a pitcher talking to somebody with his mask in front of him, and then pull it down and do his best to be like a ventriloquist where you couldn't possibly read his lips, and then slowly put the glove back up. Like I can tell when they swear. Actually, sometimes if you watch something that you've seen before or seen enough that you're really familiar, like certain comedies that they replay, sitcoms, if I find something funny or a favorite scene, But if you watch it with the sound down, and you can learn about reading lips because you kind of know what they're saying. You know, you're missing pieces of it. I've been trying to learn some shit in my old age. You know, be pretty cool to know.
I work with this Russian dude named Roman, and he speaks Russian when he's on the phone with like his mom or like a relative or whatever. And I really enjoy it because it's funny because, you know, you hear the American words or whatever, whether it be or a name like his girlfriend, Stephanie, you know, mixed with all this other, you know, what sounds like a lot of jumble. But it's really cool because like I've been around him enough where I also know what's going on in his life, so I can anticipate what he's saying to like his mom, you know, with what's going on.
Yeah.
And after he got off the phone with her the other day, I broke it down exactly what they communicated about. And I was like, you said this, this, and that. And you talked about this, this, and that, and everything like that. And I nailed it, but I almost have no idea what the hell he said, if that makes sense.
And if you're talking to him and you have cause to say the number 12, put a D in the middle and it says 12. You know, how many months are there in a year? 12. 12. Not 11, 12. I worked as a mason's helper because the pay was real good as a carpenter, but I could make more money actually carrying cinder blocks. It's pretty, you know, but I was like strong and young. But it was a Russian guy and his crew was 3 or 4 nationalities. So they spoke lots of languages. And one guy named Joseph from, I don't know where he was from, he'd look at me and go, Yakov, strife. Strife? Like, it's full of strife, but the strife, you know? And he'd say it and I'd say it, and he'd say it and I'd say it, and he'd laugh. And I'd go, Yakov, Joseph, strife. All those guys, you're running back, you know, it's kind of funny, you know. And but it was weird being the only guy that spoke English, you know, because like it's hard for, you know. Actually, I got hired with 2 other guys. This was in Tom's River, but I lived in Lindenwald. Like when I first got married, 1975. Oh yeah. So anyway, it paid to ride across the state and get way better pay than I was getting as a carpenter there. And there's like 2 other friends, and we were all going to do this. And after the second day, they both crapped out. One guy hurt his back. One guy's like, it was too much for him. You know, 12-inch cinder block, semi-solid, you know, the holes don't go through. So when you put them, they're heavy. And you'd have to put them like on a scaffold like this high. So you'd have to come over and swing it back and get it up like that. And then you'd better control it or it's going to come back down on you. And I just bulked up, man. I was like 151 pounds stronger than shit. Yeah. Now, I'm not even stuck in Palookaville. I'm past that. Not a Marlon Brando. So
manual labor takes the toll on the body, like everything else.
Yeah, it does. I just remember I never really minded it. I enjoyed it. You know, nothing hurt. You know, until I broke my back when I was like 29.
Yeah,
30.
That's how I am. That's all my work jobs have always been manual labor. That's all I've known.
I liked that because I could dress like I wanted, act like I wanted. I could be exactly who I was. They would take you like that if you got your work done.
Yep. And it's like, get someone else. They're not better than me anyway.
Yeah.
That's what's out there, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down.
When I went to California, I never made it. I had a friend in Oklahoma. I only had enough money for maybe 3 weeks if I camped out, and with my provisions that I have. So I needed to make money, and so well I could get a job anywhere in Oklahoma as a carpenter. And I thought I'll work like 2 weeks or something. So first day I'm on a crew, you know, what I'm doing, building a house. It's like about 6, 7 people on the crew. It's a nice day. And only song I know about Oklahoma was Merle Haggard, Okie from Muskogee. Now we sang that as a drinking/smoking song, you know. And my words, I heard it would be, I'm glad I'm not an Okie from Muskogee, a place where even squares can have a ball. We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee because White Lightning's still the greatest solar ball. Okay, the words are, I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, not I'm glad I'm not an Okie from Muskogee. So I'm bellowing this out. I'm to ingratiate myself to the crew. I'm glad I'm not an Okie from, and nobody joined me. I'm like, what? Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
And then I now I know why. And I think they all were a little afraid of me at that point because I'm a guy, a Firebird, like 2 years old. Mom, I got Florida plates on. I'm on my way to California. And my first day on the job, I'm insulting everybody while I work. It's pretty cool.
You ever hear the song by Merle Haggard, White Boy?
Not by the title, I don't know though. I
Yeah,
can't
maybe.
say.
She had one kid, blah, blah, blah. But now we.
I do know Poco or Pure Curry League had a song, I'll Fix Your Flat Tire, Merle, about Merle Haggard. They rhymed it with, don't you get those cotton picking fingers all covered with Earl. They rhyme Earl, oil, and Merle. Place where they put everything in a sack and they put it up. Even if it's down there, you don't put things away, you put them up. You hear it. Yeah, put it up down there. Come on, dude. Put that Coke, all soda is called Coke.
That just made you want to sip a soda.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
I received my medical cannabis card today in the mail.
Oh, you finally did?
Got it. And it came
How
with
long? How long have you been without it?
a few weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got to renew mine as well. When's the last time you bought any at a dispensary?
Before it expired in September, I bought something from Breakwater.
Just because you wanted to see what Breakwater was like, or I haven't been there in a while. I don't think you don't need to use it to keep it up. I'm waiting till prices come down.
Well, it came with this paperwork, and I'd like to share it with you. I think you'd be interested to hear this. Guidelines for medicinal cannabis patients and caregivers. As a participant in the medicinal cannabis program, we would like to provide you with guidelines to help ensure your compliance with the Jake Honig Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act, Jake's Law. Your adherence to these guidelines will minimize the risk of problems in the event you encounter law enforcement while in possession of medical cannabis or paraphernalia.
I'm confused. Jake's Law was the law that was passed that modified everything. So are they calling the Come Act Jake's Law?
This is why I want to share this with you. I'm a little confused. So it gets better too.
Well, it has to.
The Attorney General has published guidelines for relevant law enforcement agencies in New Jersey regarding the enforcement of Jake's Law. They will be trained to respect the statute, but they will also be trained to make certain that the law is not used to conceal the unauthorized use, possession, or distribution of cannabis or other illegal controlled substances.
What?
No, whoa.
What? Yo, what?
No.
What?
Tell me it ain't so, Joe.
Yeah, bro.
Gets better.
Stop.
No. I challenge you. I challenge bullshit on it getting better.
Patients and caregivers should always carry proper
Be put to
identification,
death.
including cards at all times. Medicinal cannabis must always be maintained in its original labeled packaging. Patients should.
Look where that got you.
This is a good one. Patients should keep medicinal cannabis at their residence and only transport it when absolutely necessary. Understand, the smell of burning or raw cannabis outside a home will attract law enforcement attention.
Are you shitting me?
Jeffrey, you must use your medicine at home.
So
Mr.
listen,
Jeffrey.
At home.
this needs to be sort of made more public than just us having a WTF question mark exclamation point moment.
Well, that's a
LOL.
hell of a way to honor his memory, Jake.
So, yeah, but okay, what do you get when you walk in to buy some as an adult at a dispensary legally? Do they give you the same instructions? You follow me? In
No.
other words, shouldn't patients have more privileges, not less? They're adults, members of this program, yet the exact same medicine they could buy as a non-patient, likely for the same price. Would that not come with all this bullshit? Or do they give it to you there? Because otherwise they're singling out they ought to be handing that to people when you come in the door
Gets
with
better.
every purchase.
No, it doesn't, Lefty. Stop.
If transporting or possessing medical cannabis outside their residence, patients and caregivers should keep the amount in their possession to a minimum, and as stated above, should always be maintained in its original packaging.
Okay, minimum? I'm sorry, go ahead. Go on.
Patients and caregivers are not allowed to share.
Israel.
You're not allowed to share.
Well, it's medicine. You never share medicine.
Or in any other way, redistribute medicinal cannabis to any other person. It's intended solely for the consumption of the patient. Patients should possess paraphernalia, but only for the purpose of consuming medicinal cannabis. Patients and caregivers should not grow or cultivate cannabis or be in possession of a cannabis plant.
Aren't they Jewish too? Yeah, the people in Israel.
What if it was dead?
Yeah, same
No.
thing.
What if
No,
it was dead
Not too
and
much-
no
not too much
roots?
no,
This
Not too
is
different.
this is
Not too different.
this
Nothing.
is ridiculous.
bupkis, nada, zilch,
Yeah. I don't understand.
nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You must use
So-
your
so-
medicine at home,
well,
Jeffrey.
listen,
At
okay.
home.
There's an upcoming CRC meeting. There always is. I need to have that in front of me if I choose to attend this Zoom meeting, CRC meeting. Because I'd like to read some of that to them and say, who's responsible? Who do I point at and laugh? Anybody here? Am I gonna make somebody famous here? Who is okay with that? Jeff Brown, where are you at, bro?
Yeah, right.
Patients and caregivers should not possess cannabis obtained from a source other than a licensed New Jersey ATT or dispensary. Patients should not smoke cannabis in a school bus, on public transportation, and a private vehicle while in motion. Patients may not smoke medicinal cannabis on any school grounds or any correctional facility, public park.
What
beach.
if it's in a vehicle on the way to the hospital while having a seizure?
Yeah.
Patients and caregivers should not take medicinal cannabis across state lines.
I've never seen any lines.
Patients or caregivers in possession of unwanted cannabis shall dispose of the unused product by returning it to the Alternative Treatment Center. The person returning the cannabis for disposal should present a MCP identification card, a license, driver's license, and other state photo identification.
What?
I'd rather go to the drop box at the cop
What
shop.
about the dang drop box as an option? Yeah.
So what if you bought like something cheap, an eighth of something cheap as a patient, if I bought an eighth of something cheap, and then went back and said, I want to dispose of this. It's crap. I'm not going to be able to smoke it. It's absolute crap. I'd like you to make good on it with something else though. And they'd say no, and I'd be out money, but I'd have a good story to tell.
But they take it
Yeah.
back. They would take it back, though.
Yeah, they take it back, but
drive back to
under
the store,
yeah.
go back there.
Now you know what I didn't see there.
This is ridiculous.
What they could have included is
That's so dumb.
it's all what you can't do. Everything you read is you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do
No.
this, you can't do that.
No.
Everything. What they didn't say is where can you use it? Well, if you're at a Wawa, you must be 25 feet from the door, have the keys out of the ignition, and
And
the
you gotta
car
buy a
not
hoagie.
running.
No, nothing
And you
like
got to
that.
buy a hoagie. And you can't let your car running for more than 3 minutes while you're there. But the law, I mean, the whole INE tour was based on, they didn't know where you could. Now they got everything you can't, but they're still not even telling patients where they can.
Yo, Jim, I don't know if we mentioned this to you, but when we went to Founders Day, we asked a police officer, like a young guy in Lavalette, where, as medical cannabis consumers, as patients, where can we consume our medicine? He gave us two suggestions. The first one was the beach, not the Bay Beach, the beach.
The beach.
The beach. We had to clarify that. We were like, this is nuts. And then the second,
like in the back of the ambulance.
This second spot he suggested was the tennis courts and the basketball courts on the Bay side, the recreational area.
Total C over there.
Literally, we walked away from that dude. Like Lefty was filming it, and he turns to me and he goes, "Dude, we can't put this out." He's like, "I feel horrible." I've never heard him say that. Like it was just such an embarrassment for them. And I said it too. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I feel bad right now." Because they're not giving them the tools.
Who was this? Who was this? You asked
the police officer in Lavalette.
Yeah, okay. It didn't add up when you said all that. I thought I must have heard wrong.
He was like a younger police officer. I'd never seen him before. He was a younger guy. But the two places he suggested, he said, he was like, yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, you should be fine over there on the beach, recreational area, tennis courts.
And
those are two places where we'll actually get arrested as medical.
On one hand, police will arrest you for what you did, but they're telling somebody else where they can go ahead and actually violate state law and they don't mind.
Yeah.
You can't do it at the beach. You're not allowed to do that.
Isn't that insane?
I think it says in the law somewhere too.
Why would you say that? Like, why would you just say nothing if you don't know?
Just say I don't know.
It's an awful guess.
This is over my head. I'm directing traffic, which he was.
Really?
That was about the scope of his duties and his capabilities. So, like, why did he just say, like, bro, they just got me here. Like, I'm like doing like freaking like real like first step stuff, trying to get credits and shit.
That was awful. He's like, I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Let me say something cool. No.
Wow.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, you should have no problems. Yeah, it should be. I think he might even said something like, yeah, it should be pretty chill, like almost something like in that way.
It's too bad he sounds like such a nice guy, just ready to let you do whatever.
That's what it was.
And all, but it's almost like, on the other hand, you're being summoned there like in November. It's almost like the itch to say, hey, listen, you got a problem right under your nose, literally. I'm going to go over on advice from your police. I'm going to go have a joint at the beach. I'll be right back.
You know, it was crazy. Now, we didn't go walk down to the beach. But the Bay side, like where the recreational area was, like that's where
there's a gazebo out there, and they're like
that's where Founders Day was, and it was like kind of on the north end, like right, Founders Day was like all in the Bay side, but it ended at the north end. So when we went over there and we looked at the recreational area, there must have been 50 bicycles. There was kids playing basketball. I don't think they were playing tennis, but there was a lot of activity. So to just go there and light up would have been like insanity, actually.
Yeah.
I'm glad you took mercy upon them. Dude, that's gonna work. Well, what's next?
It's so easy to like Lefty's saying, just say nothing. It's so easy as an officer. Just be like, I don't know, actually.
Well, I thought some of the interactions with police early on in the INE tour were interesting. I like the one in Trenton in particular with the female. I just say female, not a sexist. The female watch commander or whatever. And when she told you, yeah, I've got like 6 or 8 officers out right now, and they don't know what I'm going to tell you. I thought, good for you. I mean, she had to go check. Was it call the prosecutor? I mean, the county prosecutor's office, I think, is where they'd usually go for that information when they made calls. But I kind of like that because it seemed like that was what the INE tour was for. And it was like a really good example you know, of why you were doing what you did. You know,
Yeah, she was cool.
yeah.
Don't get
She
too
took it
slow.
serious, took it seriously. I like the one where they said out by the flagpole, you can go smoke there. It was Atlantic City, I think. Oh, I forget. But you did. Oh yeah, Atlantic City, police station, right across the street. Just go there. And you're like, that's okay. No, it's really not. But by the time anybody complains, and we just won't go. So they told us right across the street so people can complain, but they know they're on the job, even though they're not on the job. I thought that was pretty funny too. Yeah. Glad I went on to see a little bit of that.
One lady today gave me the finger in the crosswalk. And then she called the cops, and the cops came. And nothing happened. So I'm just going through my business. I'm doing a couple of laps, and some guy goes right past me, doesn't stop. So I'm put my phone aggressively at him, right aggressively, like this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, a cop was right behind him and chirped, pulled him right over and gave him a ticket for the crosswalk. And then he
I
came
was
over.
almost expecting you to say, so I came over to me and said, don't do that.
No.
I thought he was going to say came over to me and said, I'm going to summons you.
They
You're
were in
right. I was waiting for the bad part.
Oh,
That was
in a
a good
black
story.
Charger. They were in a black Charger. Like it wasn't even a cop car. It was a black Charger, souped up with like black tinted windows. I didn't even know it was a cop car. I
Oh,
saw
you-
yeah, did the little chirp, chirp, chirp,
the
bloop, bloop, bloop.
chirp
Okay,
and the little
now-
lights. I'm like, oh shit, it's a
Yeah,
cop
undercover chirp.
car.
Can you
No.
section that video out? I mean,
Yeah.
just that part?
Yeah,
Do
it's
that and put
great.
that. See, that's like that. People say, why do you do what you
Wait.
do? Why do you do what you do? That's a good example right there. you know?
Was
Not-
he hanging out by the intersection, like just like parked
No,
or
he was
something?
just driving. He was
He
actually,
was following him. He's behind. He's the next car, right?
yeah, I think he was behind him in the next car. Yes.
Yeah.
And he just blew right past me. I put my phone out to the rest. I'm like, and the cop just pulled him right over. I'm like, oh shit. So I
See,
went over. I made sure. I'm
No.
like, you got it for the crosswalk, right? He said, yeah. I'll come talk to you in a minute. Then he came back and said hi to me.
you need that. I'll tell you why you need that on your phone. You could have used that in Salem when they say, what are you doing? Okay, here's what I do. And then show that's a cop doing his job. See that
Yeah.
chirp, chirp, pulling
Yeah.
over. You're asking me what I'm doing and making it hard for me. This is the cop's doing his job. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's
You know,
how
you're
it's
asking me
supposed
what
to
am
be.
I doing? Here's what I'm doing.
His
That's
You know,
how it's supposed to be, not
yeah.
Officer Fabricante or whatever his name was.
fabricator. His name is actually
Fabricator, yeah.
Fabricator.
Fabricator,
Okay.
saying that he's going to give you a summons. That's the wrong energy,
Yeah.
man.
Oh no, no way.
Yeah.
It was fun today. Had two separate cop incidents today. It was great.
If I find you a chicken suit, would you wear it one time crossing
Yes.
the road?
Yes. Yeah, I told Mikey about it. He almost fell off his chair wearing it.
Yeah, I think that's
Somebody
the
has
most
to
amazing
say
ever.
it. Why are you crossing the road over and over? I mean, just that being the question. I don't know what your answer should be.
Why do you keep
But
crossing
you could-
the road?
Yeah, right. Because like,
I'm chicken. I
You
don't
know?
know.
well, most people would say to get to the other side.
Yeah, after you mentioned that,
know.
the lefty, oh man, I love that idea. I immediately was Googling chicken costumes, and there's so many cool ones. There's actually a rubber chicken costume, you know, like the rubber one that's like the one that you squeak or whatever. There's actually a rubber chicken costume, and there's like a party chicken, and there's like a slouchy chicken. Like there's quite a few actually.
I'm telling you, that's the one that because you do this, you're not just saying, hey, this would be funny. Let me dress like a chicken and I'll start crossing the road.
In addition,
No, you already do this.
Already
So the
doing
fact that you already do it, if you
Make
can
it better.
combine that, if you can combine that somehow with like, say,
I'll tail behind him in the chicken
two
suit.
second, no, you've had different masks on, you've been doing this. I picture it this way, bear with me. 2 seconds of there you are crossing a whole nother street, you go through a bunch of them. And then the chicken, the whole thing, in other words, you get tired of being asked why you're doing this when what you're doing is to show that there needs to be some checks and balances in these particular crosswalks, that these are dangerous and it's going unattended by police or whatever, whatever you would do. But man, that's the kind of thing that who wouldn't want to see that on a Facebook?
It's got to happen.
Well, I did the
For real.
chicken. Well, I did the chicken cross the road. Well, let's see. Classically, 47% say to get to the other side, and then you know, I mean, somewhere
it could
there's
increase.
somebody
It can increase in
categorized
numbers.
this somewhere.
You get
I
like
need a
10 people on
computer.
each side of the road with like signs up that say like, we need you
Mhm.
over here, bro. Get over here. Come over here, chicken.
I make notes sometimes.
big.
I forget. I'm
Like
going
that.
chicken.
Yes, I need a note about like a sign say, "Come over here, chicken. Come here, chicken."
He's got to go back and forth.
Oh, and how about
Both
this?
sides want him.
You do that, and then a block down each way, you have somebody with a sign, here's why the chicken's crossing the road. You know, and why you are. I mean, I swear, if I was driving by somebody with a chicken doing that, and somebody else, here's why the chicken's crossing the road, give me that. What? Oh, the chicken and who you are and a website, you know, and come on, man.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, QR code.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. If I saw a chicken, if I saw someone dressed as a chicken crossing any street, even if that's all it was, and there was no other like attachment to it, that would make my day. Easy.
You did see chickens going down Route 9 and where Howell and Lakewood Meat was doing a job like right by the road. And there's like 3 or 4 chickens and they were walking, but it was like where the road kind of like a corner, and they turned with the road, they crossed it, then they turned into a parking lot. And then they went up to a store, like a door to it, wherever. And it was like they wanted to go inside. I don't recall them going inside. I just recall it's very orderly walking there. Well, I did the chicken cross the road. This is actually partial credit to the video I saw with somebody in the turtle outfit. Actually, turtle, not, I don't think it was a turtle walking. And then somebody in a rabbit outfit went running right by him. It's in New York, so it's like a lot of people and it's an intersection. So if you were looking up the canyon this way, it'd be going across in front of you. The turtle slowly getting across the road.
Oh,
This rabbit came running by, and that's all you saw.
damn, what about a giant turtle? Like someone dressed as a giant turtle and just crawling really slow across the crawl wall. Like really slow, just like little by little.
Oh no, squash.
They get mad at that. You'd be like, all right, no.
I'm sorry, I don't answer questions.
I
I'm
like
a
the
turtle,
double
bro.
stroller. The double stroller is a great one.
Go what?
I have a double stroller that I'd push ahead of me. And if you want to kill the baby, go ahead, kill the baby.
Oh yeah.
That thing is great.
Fill it up with tomatoes.
No. Well, I don't know.
That would be epic. Like if someone hit it,
Yeah.
tomatoes splash everywhere. That would be sick. That's art.
That'd be good splatter art. I love art and activism, but that might be a little too much, but let's do that anyway.
That's a couple different forms of art.
That's a couple of different forms of art, and it's interactive.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
And
even
it's
realize
edible art too. If you really think about it, it's also
Edible.
edible art.
there's so many layers to that art.
So many-
It really is. It's great.
yeah, it taps a lot of different things on.
You're getting unknown people involved in your art,
Mhm.
even on a possible felony.
And it's also responsible in terms of like cleanup. Like it's not permanent. It's natural.
Well, if they hit
It
you,
will
though,
it'll wash away,
if they hit the carriage, that's kind of,
I'm almost done.
I don't know. If they hit that baby carriage, it's kind of like a felony. Even though it's not a live baby, it could have been a live baby.
Yeah, no, that's kind of on them. It's kind of not your problem at that point. In fact, I would want to be compensated for the financial loss of my tomatoes.
Tomatoes in the carriage, yeah.
Yeah, tomatoes are expensive. Everything's expensive.
Can you imagine if they hit the dummy that day? We had the dummy in the cart. We had Bongalito and the dummy. Can you imagine if someone hit that?
His head would have been rolling toward like Angela's.
His head would have rolled down the road.
It totally would have.
It already was rolling off. It was
I know.
we got to do that again.
Man, it would have been like a bowling ball.
Bowling ball down the street.
That was funny.
Really? I've done that.
Yeah, that one car scared the hell out of me though.
Yeah, skidded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, well, listen. let's thank CMMNJ, and I want to thank CannaSense. I want to thank UFCW, Local 152, JacksonStorms.com, Smoking Monkey, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, Pure Puff Lifestyle Shop, and you can always donate to sativacross.org. Go to the shop, and you can donate at sativacross.org. $10, $20, whatever you got. Please help. And our list begins with Cheryl. I've been explaining Cheryl a lot to people lately, it seems, because people are asking me how I got involved and
No, yeah,
and all
that'll
this.
do it.
And I'm like, well, Cheryl changed my whole outlook on medical cannabis.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was a simple thing. If she can do it, anybody can. You know, I mean, physically, mentally, everything. You know, no bullseyes involved. Everybody was afraid them. You know, just speaking out loud would, you know, if you enjoyed it or used it for medicine. And I think she showed some people you didn't have to be afraid.
and you guys didn't have the kind of cannabis we have today either. You had whatever we had. You had this weed that we all had at the same time back then.
Yeah. Yep. Was no choice. Sativa, indica. I'm sorry. What?
Not even.
Yeah.
You didn't get that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when weed first started having names to it, I rejected that whole concept.
Me too.
And there would
Me
be
too.
somebody who was like a newbie who would be like,
Yeah.
what's it called? What's it named? And I'd be like, dude, you don't get it. Like, you just don't get it.
I'm like,
And
yes.
now everything is names this, names that. Oh, you got to try this one. You got to try. It's just the whatever, the cherry gelato from this place. Oh, the bomb to die for.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are we talking about?
I got asked that sometimes. Back in the day, you could buy a quarter pound and sell 3 ounces and you'd get yours free. I mean, it wasn't like $300 ounces. It would be start out at like 20 and then $40, whatever. Well, you get it for 120 and sell 3 and you got one. And it wasn't a matter of what is it. It might be like generally Colombian, but if it wasn't, what is it? What's it called? What, you know? And I got tired of it because I wouldn't know. You know, what do you mean you don't know? Ask me why I don't want to talk about it. I'll tell you why I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. So I called it. I made up something as mockingly. I figured there's a lot of colors. You got gold and some is brown. I'm gonna call this. Okay, I've never heard of anything from Ecuador, and I've never heard of anything blue. It's Ecuadorian blue, and they bought Ecuadorian blue.
And that's what they've been doing ever since.
I kid you not. 6 months. 6 months later, not that person, not anybody I would have any way of knowing if there was a relation, you know. But about 6 months later, I was going to get a quarter pound, and it was from somebody else, and it was a friend of a close friend, so it wasn't any of that. I didn't ask, what is it? He told me, yeah, man, it's Ecuadorian blue. What am I supposed to say? He sold me Ecuadorian blue. I just wanted to buy it. I didn't say, hey, dude, I made that up. You know what I mean? I didn't know the guy. I didn't want to impugn his integrity or his student.
That was your strain. That was your strain.
I made it up, and then
that's what I mean.
Yeah, it went into
it.
Went into an echo chamber and came back a reality somewhere.
Crazy.
You know, one day I'm going to look up at a list and it's going to have all kinds, and I'm going to see Ecuadorian blue from the 70s. But I hear about those laughing weed. You're
muted.
I'm thinking, I I don't know when I found out sativa indica, two different types. I didn't know, you know. So I was thinking like, well, yeah, if I'm in a good mood, it's laughing weed to me. And if I've been smoking it for a while, it gets me tired, you know. And then I'm hearing, well, of course, now it does have all these specific effects. All right, so what do I know? I knew there wasn't any Ecuadorian blue, you know. And there's a thing going around in the very early 70s where, yeah, if it was damp and in a dark place and it started to develop mold, it would be stronger.
Ugh.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, I'm willing to try anything, but it didn't seem to work. You know?
I saw a guy add seeds to his weed. He actually added seeds to his joint, so for extra health. I said, no thanks. I'm good on that one.
Yeah, I can get a little explosion in my joint anytime I want, man. You know, oh, it's got
Good,
some. Yeah,
You know, worth mentioning before we go. What's weird is I had a phone call earlier from Oxford Health, which is my insurance provider, and like I don't go to doctors like routinely or anything like that. And they were like, "Yeah, if you," they just called me out of nowhere and were like, "We want to set up a home visit." And they tried to coax me into making an appointment with them, and they literally said that if you complete the appointment, we'll give you $100 Visa gift card. What the hell is that all about? Have you guys ever heard? Have you guys ever heard of anything so weird? And I was like, when I first answered it, normally I'm like, when they're like, is Michael Vangelis there? I'm just like, nah, you're beat. I don't even sometimes say that. I just hang up. Like whoever it is, I don't feel like dealing with it. It's not important, you know, whatever. But I just felt like continuing. I was like, yes, this is him. Like, what do you want? You know, why are you calling me? And they wanted to like set up an appointment for a free home visit from a nurse to check like vital signs, just get like this and that, blah, blah. And then they give me a gift card and send me money.
Oh,
What's that all about?
doesn't work that way.
No, but what's crazy is I'm like, money? All right. You know what I mean? Like that's like literally that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how long would this procedure be? Now I'm asking questions. Like you give me money to like come to my house and do a home visit? That's weird.
yeah,
That's
it is.
weird.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
like, what?
okay, what
That's
if
why I don't
somebody,
answer those calls.
a friend of mine in Oklahoma, he said, listen, I'm going Saturday. It's going to take a while. They say either getting a diamond pendant, a recliner, or a television if I go listen to this 4-hour thing. So I said, good. And he came back, and you know those little seat cushions you have like it for a ball game, you know, just a plastic, like, you know, just like that big. It was like 3 of them, or 1, 2, 4 of them. So when it unfolded, you could make a one this way, and then like that, and like that, like a triangle, and sit on the 4th one. So it'd be 2 down, 1 up, 1 over. And you could sit on the ground and lean against the others, which is the most ridiculous thing, but you're sitting on the ground and you could lean on something, and they got away with that as that's the recliner. Didn't say reclining chair. You get a recliner, a TV, or a diamond pendant. So he got taken. It was really funny because we were all ready we knew he was going to get screwed. He went
I'm almost a little torn a little because I mean, part of me is saying this is just free money. Like they've offered you some weird ass deal, which sounds really sweet.
Yeah. Well, if you don't sign anything,
Like,
you listen, and when it comes time for the small print, you go, oh, no, and then you tell us about it. Come on, you got to go for it. I think I talked my friend into getting the recliner
I'm
too.
like doing the math, and I'm like, this is very easy money for like a 40-minute.
You know what?
It would be
You
no
got to
more
do
than
it.
40 minutes. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, like, even if like, all right, like put the money aside, the money is enticing because it gets me interested.
Yeah.
Like, why are you guys even doing that? This is
Yeah.
shouldn't work like this. You'll pay me to do healthcare or what? Okay. So part of me is more interested about the experience, or you know, how that would go down. what that's all about. That to me is more fascinating because they're incentivizing me with free money.
You're never going to forgive yourself if you don't. You're going to be thinking about this next year, the year after. You're going to
Yeah.
wonder. So you
No,
have
the,
to.
the
Nah,
truth
you
is,
have to.
I probably will do it because
Yeah,
it's
do it,
really
do it.
good
Do it.
money. Like it's easy money. It's super easy, and she just
Yeah.
comes to my house. Sounds really easy.
Feel like a third base coach telling you, go for home, go for it. Not me.
Crazy.
No, you could be, but it'd be great because I can't poke a hole in that, but you could find out.
But what was weird was I was like, I even asked, I was like, so do I get the Visa gift card at the end of the completion of the, like, will the nurse be bringing me the Visa gift card, or does it get mailed?
Yeah.
You
Or is it
know,
a special gift card where you can spend $2 of it each week for next 50 weeks?
on only medical supplies.
Yeah, right. Or something. Yeah, right. It'd be something.
And now I'm spending money I would not
Yeah,
otherwise
yeah.
on medical
Okay.
supplies to use my. That's another one of those false you didn't win things.
And the medical supplies start at $250. Here's $100 gift card. Yeah. Going to I think Kathy can probably hear this in the other room because it was pretty funny, and to Harris Casino in Chester, and they had a ham giveaway. So it's a ham giveaway. You go, you get a ham, you stand in line for a while. Sometimes it would be a clock one day, it'd be some cool little freaking toaster, they give away stuff, even a really nice cheesecake. But this is like a ham, and it was not a small ham. They called it free ham. Free ham. Maybe I even gonna have to ask it, but it turns out it was $15 off a ham. There was a $15, and the ham's like $40. So it's a $40 ham for $15. That's not a giveaway. And we stood in line, not too long, but it was going to be 20 minutes at least more. And it wasn't a singular line. It was like 5 wide up to tables. You were deep into it. And somebody on the way out explained that to me. He got his fucking $15 off a ham. And so I started announcing, if you think you're going to get a free ham, you're not. I let you, Kathy,
What?
how many people were there waiting for a free ham when I found out and started telling them they weren't going to get it? Like 100 people or something?
Yeah.
Give or take. Yeah, there's like give or take 100 people waiting. And the natives got restless. People were murmuring. People ahead of me were now getting up there like, is that true? And so we went up, and I just reasoned with the guy. I wasn't angry. I said, look, if I told you I give you this and it's a free car, and you go to get it and you find out it's a $2,500 car, and basically I'm giving you $1,000. I mean, yeah, I'm giving you $1,000, but that doesn't make it a free car if you got to still pay money, right? I mean, would that be free? And it was just sort of fun for that. I guess in their defense, they didn't know me and they didn't know I would be there. And they didn't know I love ham. Okay, that's quite a digression.
I don't mind the digressions because this is a very sad list.
Yeah.
Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill Buckman, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger Barber, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie Rickard, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lulu, Becky, and Jeff Oakes. I'm going to add Mary Taylor to this list. Mary Taylor is my friend Jeff's daughter. She was killed in a drive-by shooting in Patterson last week. She was standing in front of her house, and some idiots from some stolen car shot up the whole neighborhood and killed her. Jeff called me the other day. He's like, "We're doing a protest in Patterson. You want to come?"
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
like,
saw that.
"Okay, I'll be up there." And it was very sad because I've been to council meetings and felt frustration and felt angst and felt helpless. And watching the parents of Mary just letting it all out at this council meeting. They took it over. They took over they took it over. It was just their meeting. People with signs, people with shirts on, people with buttons.
I saw you afterwards there, talking to people.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was about though.
It was really sad because I didn't know what to. I've known Jeff since I'm 14 years old. I don't know what to say to him. This is his stepdaughter. I don't know what to say to him. What do
There's
you say?
nothing to say.
There's nothing to say. I mean,
No,
I just want me to protest with you. I'll protest with you here. I'll be there. That's sure.
you know, it just in any situation, and you would never say it in this one, but it's good advice for everybody to never say, I know how you feel about anything, ever. Just don't say that phrase. In any situation, never say, I know how you feel.
Yep.
Especially the more, doesn't matter what you think,
That's the worst
So
thing
it-
you can say. Yep, I agree.
And yeah, there was nothing you could say,
Too.
you know.
Not when it's that traumatic.
Well, what's interesting is the Patterson police station was taken over by the Attorney General's office because they're corrupt and incompetent, whatever. And the Attorney General's guidelines says no police chases. So there's a video I saw where the guys were shooting up the neighborhood, getting their red car, and they took off, and the cops were right there in camera view. They were right there. They saw the whole thing, and these let the guys go.
Yeah, how do you know how long Patterson has, like, when did that happen? When did the Attorney General take over?
That day, I found out on the news that Patterson was suing to take their department back. They want their department back.
No kidding. That's very interesting. The last I remember reading about Patterson, and it really, really rubbed me wrong, was in 2018. I read an article about, forget his name, but he was the sergeant of Patterson. He was the internal affairs officer, and he had violated so many of his police staff. And he was the internal affairs officer. And I remember at the time, whatever, doesn't matter why, but it really riled me up and upset me, pissed me off. I started making a lot of phone calls, whatever, yada yada yada. But that's why I'm asking the time frame of that, because it totally made the whole department go to shit. And everything, I would imagine, has been trying to repair and put the pieces back together since that happened. He was using sexual toys, and he was demeaning officers who were in training. He had a big blue dildo. I don't know, better way to say it. And there was there's lawsuits and stuff like that. If you Google this, you'll find out about it. I remember it really made me really mad. Yeah, Google that after this.
Wow. Yeah, they took over their police station. I don't know how long, but they're suing to get it back. I saw on the news that morning. They want it back, and they're suing the Attorney General's office. Now, how come the Attorney General takes over Patterson, but the Ocean County prosecutor takes over Lavalette?
Size of the city and the town. like
Oh,
Patterson being a
that's
Lavallette in Ocean County. It's just capability, I guess.
interesting.
Patterson's such a big city, so many people, very diverse, a lot going on. I would imagine it would be the attorney general who would take over an area like that, as opposed to a county and something small like a beach town like Lavallette. But I guess it's the same thing. I mean, it's same like concept. I'm sure there's a lot of corruption in Patterson police. I'm sure there's a lot.
Well, thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Good sh-
I like Thursdays.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't have a drive home now.
Yeah, no drive home. This is easy.
Yeah. That's what it feels like, you know, you go do something and I'm right there.
Here, I'll end it here. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.